Welcome everyone. Okay, I want to run through how to configure the chart DOM like this, like a new school DOM that was made popular by JigSaw. As I find this is a lot easier to read price. Okay, so we're going to run through how to set this up in Sierra. You're going to need to configure all of your specific columns and colors. Okay, and this is the time of sales window. So first things first, I'm going to run through what these columns are, okay, and then we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of the settings and how to get everything configured exactly like this, okay. So on the left we have the volume profile. This tells you how many contracts have been traded at any price, okay, and typically I have this marked as yellow, which is the point of control that suggests 25,313 contracts have been traded at this price at 5154 and a quarter. Okay, so that is what your volume profile is. It's really a standard feature, so you can quickly see if you're out of value or in value. Okay. Then the next column we have is the price column. The market is closed at the moment, so normally I have here a bid pooling and stacking. You'll see that on the live streams. If you come in to have a look, you'll see I have DOMs up and what it looks like. Typically, if say this is 14 bid, 12 bid, it would show like a -6 or 4, which would tell me that there was 6 pulled from here and 4 added. So it gives you an idea if the offer has been pulled, or if it's been stacked, or what's happening at the recent prices. Okay, give you an idea if you're looking to hold on to trades. So that's normally what's in this column. Now the next column is the MBO data that is provided within Denali data feed by Sierra, and this essentially tells you what size is sitting at each price. Now I'm aware that we have the bid resting orders, but this lets you know which prices have actually got some size sitting there, and as soon as those orders are pulled, you get to see when they're pulled. So you can see in a live market if someone is flashing 50 bids here, and then typically if the market is going to go down and fill it or not. Okay, it gives you an idea to spot icebergs and to see what's happening in the market. You need to have package 12 in order to see this data. Okay, you can set the threshold. I typically only want to see large orders. I don't really care about algos that are sitting at 3 bids each price. There's also another size sitting here in the offer. Someone's literally went onto the chart and they have laid out 96 contracts at this price. Now what's interesting when you look at this is you can think to yourself, right, someone that's going to be laying 96 contracts, right, is most likely going to have more behind them, you know. So that's just, and if you had that amount of size, you're not just going to go and sling out 500 contracts, are you? You're just not going to do that, because ultimately you're going to say to everyone, hey guys, I really want to sell up here, so everyone's just going to buy price up to this spot, because then they know that someone's looking to unload cells into here. So think of this more like a game of poker and a game of theory, that these people are there to flash and ultimately to try and get the best price of what's happening, okay? And they will be taking other sides of the market. So this is going to be a relatively longer video, so if I do go off in tangents, hopefully you get some value in that. But just in general, for the amount of time I've stared at the DOM, you'll need to look at this for a couple of months in order to really get honed in as to what you're actually seeing. Okay, so we've covered the MBO data, which is extremely important. You need to have package 12 for Sierra for that. The next column is the resting bid orders. Okay, and this goes all the way down. You can adjust the depth. Okay, so that's the resting bids. And the next one is actually market orders. So this is orders that have been carried out at each price. And this is the red is trades that have been carried out at the bid. which is known as selling, because when you sell, you pay the bid. And then the blue is buy orders, and when you buy, you pay the offer or you pay the ask, okay, or known as lifting the offer, okay. And then, like we had left hand side, it's the same at the right. We have the resting offers. We then have the MBO data as well on the offer, and then the pooling and stacking, okay. And then we have the time and sales in here as well. We'll run through that separately on this, but that will pretty much cover. We'll cover that as how you make it look the same. Okay, so first things first, to get all this configured, now you know what you're looking at. Okay, you need to go to one of your charts that you have open, and you need to go to your file, and then you need to go to open trading DOM for chart. Now there's two features. You can decide what you're wanting here. Do you want to have your chart and then have your DOM on the same chart, or do you want to have a completely separate DOM like I have? Okay, if you want to have a separate DOM like I have where you can have them, I just prefer that personally. Go to open trading DOM and it will open the trading DOM for separately. Okay, and then once you have that open, you'll see something extremely ugly looking. Let me see if I can have that open. I've already got this up, but this is what it looks like. this is a the standard DOM that you get in Sierra, which is absolutely useless until you customize it. Okay, so we'll need to configure the trade columns first because they're all completely wonky here. So to make them exactly like this, so you can read it simply, okay, you need to go click on the chart, and you need to go to trade, and then you need to go to customize chart trade DOM columns. Okay, and now I have these set up exactly like this. You need to find them. You need to find them here. So I've got price, then I have bid, market depth, pooling and stacking as discussed, bid market order columns, which is the MBO data. Okay, so that one is bid market order columns. Then you have bid size and buy column, recent bid volume, recent ask volume, ask size and sell column, ask market order column, and the ask market depth, pooling and stacking. Okay, now you can add in your P&L in here if you like, or you can add in other things like current traded bid volume, where you can have more delta at the right, but it's completely up to yourself. I think the more you add on to the DOM, you end up having too much information in there, so I prefer to keep it a little bit more straightforward. I would advise everyone to start with these, as this is enough data for you to realize what's going on. So within the settings, you can go to custom title, and you can put price or buy, sells, just so when you're starting, you know what each column is until you get the hang of it. I don't have any of these typically, just because I've been doing it for that long. But if you want to, for example, put the recent bid volume and change the title to recent bid volume and recent ask volume here. Okay, and then click apply. That will then show up here. So recent bid volume, recent ask volume. Okay, I'm going to take those off, but you can decide if you want to do that yourself or not. Now I'm going to run through the centering so you have it. Okay, so the bid market depth, pooling and stacking, I have alignment to the left so it doesn't overlap things. The bid market orders I have is center, so and the same for the resting bids. Okay, and the show volume bars, I have them shown. They're pretty dark, you can't really see them, but I have that aligned to the left so that it comes out this way. The recent bid volume, recent ask volume is both are both centered, and then the size cell columns I have show volume bars to the right again, so it comes this way. You can change the colors of all this. We're going to change the aesthetics of this in a second, so you can have a look at what you're doing, because it's the default graphics on Sierra are rough. Okay, and then the AS market order columns again centered, and then the AS market depth pooling and stacking have alignment to the right as well. Okay, now the custom title, just crack on with that how you see fit. Once you've added this in this exact order, has to be in this order, you then click apply and then OK. Right, and then you should have an iteration of this. Now you won't have the volume by price, so we'll add that first. Okay, so to first add that, you need to go to click on the chart that you're wanting, then you go to analysis, studies, and then you want to add volume by price. Now we'll run through that in a separate video, but I'm just going to keep this up and you guys can run through. Just use the standard profile that's there, and you can adjust all of the settings within that. But volume profile is a completely different video. Just so you've got something that looks the same as this, we can go and adjust the settings in a different video, or leave any questions that you've got in the comments. Okay, so you need to make sure and add that, and then you'll have this exact setting here. Okay, so now we need to change the colors of all of this. Okay, so we'll bring up this exact chart. So I'm going to go to bring up the colors and amend. You need to go to chart, graphic settings for the chart. Okay, and then I'm just going to blast through the main colors here. So trade DOM text color I have as white. The trade DOM background color set to black. The grid I have as dot and a dark grey. You can see that there. The trade DOM secondary grid, don't ever really use that. Neither is the rollover line, that's never there. The last trade price is this, set that to whatever color you like. Okay, you may be also thinking while you're looking at your chart here that everything looks not as thick and not as easy to see, but you can adjust the fonts in a minute, so we'll go in and adjust that in the font section. The last trade price box foreground I've got is black. The last trade price box outline, I've got this set to white. Okay, now the DOM graph ask lines begin color I've got set to red. Okay, just set anything with your ask here is set to red. And then the bid lines begin color, these are not really usable, to be honest with you, so this is more for the highs and lows in here as well. Now time and sales, we'll cover that in a second. Okay, so you can skip past all of that. Now here we go. The trade DOM column separator lines I've got set to black, so you can't really see them. If you change that to yellow, you can see that would normally then go in and draw separator lines, but you need to enable it first. Okay, not a fan at all, so I have that set to black so it doesn't affect anything. You can adjust the aesthetics of this if you don't like the colors I've got. Okay, the trade DOM by column background is set to blue, which is this one. Okay, and the trade DOM by column lines that separates down here is grey. So if we set that to white, we'll see if that changes any of that. Okay, so you can set that to the way it was. I just had that to grey, so I'll put that back. Okay, you can adjust that if you prefer it to be white or you prefer it to be blue. Adjust it how you want. For the trade DOM cell column, that will be red. And then the lines again, you can adjust if you'd like. The trade DOM bid column background, So I've got this set to dark blue. That should be referencing the boxes inside. Okay, and you can just go through these settings and see the colors of what it looks like. So the trade DOM ask background. If you have this enabled, make sure and disable it, or just set it all to black. Okay, just set the whole background to black if you can. Okay, now the trade DOM ask depth background, again set the red. You're going to basically set anything for the ask here apart from the recent trade volume to red. And then the trade DOM ask depth quantities, set that to white. That's the colors and the actual resting bids and offers in there. So set that to white. The trade DOM bid depth will now onto the bid, so change that as you're going down. Now, we covered this in a previous video. I'll link it in the description, which is the best bid, the best bid and best ask, which is this white box. When the market's not as liquid, you can have these show up so you can see where the spread is, and it allows you to help spot icebergs as well. Okay, so I'll link that in the description. You can cover it, but you need to go in and adjust those settings in order to have these boxes to show, and to make sure that you've got the refresh rate all set up correctly. Okay, so the trade DOM buy order quantity text, just make again all white. If you're going for a black background, obviously all of the colors is going to be white, and then the colors in the middle is easy to identify if it's buy or selling. The daily high line, I have this as well, is set to green, so it tells me this is the high of the day. Daily low line is red, which is going to be at the bottom. The recenter line, you can decide if you want to go for a recenter or middle. I go for a middle. You need to make sure and enable that column, so you can take that away and see. I just prefer this because I typically have the DOM up to watch multiple markets. Okay, and allows me to see which market's going bid and which one's going offered, you know, and if there's any correlations that are happening at that time. Okay, these are not actually relevant. P&L, I don't have anything to do with P&L on there. Okay, so this is important. The trade DOM last price text bid trade set to red. Anything that's carried out is a trade on the bid is red, and anything carried out on the ask as a trade is blue. You can change the colors again to whatever you want. Typically, you know, buying is going to be green or blue, and selling is going to be red across the board. I don't have these enabled, but you can enable them if you like. Okay, for the background, because I have just the background is black. I don't use the cumulative last size because we're using a refresh rate. Again, link in the description for that video that explains all of that. Okay, these are not enabled, but you can adjust them as you see fit and enable. Now the recent bid volume and recent ask volume is the colors for in here, so make sure you're setting into red so you can see them in blue. Okay, last traded recent bid volume background. This is important, so make sure you're ticking these and setting them to the right colors. The trade DOM last traded recent the text, so you want to make sure that it's easy to identify these. So when the market goes bid, for example, so when a trade is carried out in the bid, the background goes red quickly, and then the volume text goes white, and then when it leaves that level, it'll then stay the color that's on the that's in this column as an example. So you need to change these settings that we've got here. There is a million settings in here, guys, as you can see, you know, the most customizable platform ever. So I'm running through every one of these so you get a rough understanding of what's going on, but of course this is your own chart, set it up how you like. Okay. Now the trade DOM recent bid best bid background, that's what we covered before. Need to make sure that that's set to white, which is here. Again, these settings, I don't have any of them enabled. Now the pooling and stacking is important if you did decide to enable that. Okay. The pooling and stacking I have is set to white for a color, and then that's for adding, and then negative is yellow. The white again for the opposite side on the offer is white and then yellow. These are not showing, but they'll be very apparent if you pop into live stream and see them. These are really helpful columns that I advise you do add them. Okay. Trade DOM bid market orders background, that's set to blue. Okay, now these are the colors that adjust this, I'm sure. Let's see if that changes. Yes, so you can adjust this color here for the trade DOM bid volume bar to let you see what's resting more by the volume bar. So I have mine set to pretty dark. I don't really use that, to be honest. I just look at the numbers a lot of the time. Pardon me. The trade DOM total percentage, I have this at the bottom. Okay, lets me know there's 3,665 at the bid. Okay, and then it just does the same at the offer. So if we scroll up, you can see there's some size sitting here, which is nice. And there's 4,377 on the offer. So there's more on the offer on the way up, which could potentially mean the market's going to go bid. You know, just as a first glance to go and get all that liquidity up there. Okay, so we'll go back to the graphic settings, but we were pretty much done here. Which we were here. This is the total percentage text. We don't have any of the backgrounds for any of these. You can enable them if you wish. We don't have any of this. Trade DOM bar, market depth, pooling, stacking, background. I've got that set to black. I don't have any volume bars with it. And that is going to be pretty much it for these settings. You can adjust the order colors that you want. So when you when you want to take a trade, you can adjust the colors for a buy order or a buy limit or sell limit, and you can adjust your stop colors, which is the child. So the buy limit childs is going to be your take profit and stop losses. So adjust them. Okay. How you see fit. Just run through them so you've got them. But that's the settings. I mean, I'm not really wanting to blast through. We're here forever trying to run through all this, but this should give you an idea. You'll need to tweak the settings to make sure that you've got something of this nature. Okay, because it took me forever to configure this. And to save you all the faffing here, if you would like, you can send me a message and I'll just send you the chart book. That would be probably easy enough to do. Okay. So next we need to go on and show you what the time of sales is. So to open the time of sales window, you need to go click on the chart. Okay, restore that. Click on the chart, then go to File, and then go to Open Time and Sales Window. Okay. And then go into Settings. Now, this is interesting. This is going to depend on what you want to see. Okay. Now, do you want the data to not be combined? So essentially what that does is shows you every single order that comes in one clip in the market. Or do you want to see, right, at 5161 and a half, how much was traded at the bid, or at the offer, combined data. Okay, so I would either go for do not combine or go with same price and type, so that you have the price and the amount that was traded. Okay, so if you go for that, and then this is going to be up to yourself. I typically do not care the time that these happen or the date. I like to I like to have I like to just know the price and the volume that's carried out. Okay. Um, and you can adjust this to so that it's not taking up so much space. So if you go to show title bar, okay, and then press apply, it just takes a little bit less space up. Or you can decide if you want to add on the grid lines, okay, things like that. Just depends on what you're wanting. I don't really bother. I typically remove the title bar because I've got loads of DOMs up, for correlation, and trying to save a little few pixels makes a big difference. Now this is the interesting part. So the input filtering, you can set this to, do you want to see all of the orders that come in, so greater than 2, or do you want to set it to like 50 or 100? I typically have 2 time of sales open. I have one that shows me just for how quick the tape is running, and then I open another chart, open a time of sales, minimize it, okay, and then I have one that only shows me large orders above 100. But then they also then mark it so that they will highlight, and it will give me a uh, an alert for when they actually happen. Okay, so you can adjust that, and it will then highlight. Okay, so that's the main settings. You need to decide what you want to see. I think from my experience, the 2 main things you want with time of sales and DOM is you want to see the pace of the tape, and it's like anything, when there's loads of volume and orders coming through, speed of tape means it's busy. And you also want to see what prices are large traders get involved in. Are they buying, are they selling? Is the market blipping through prices? Is orders been pulled? All of this you can get an idea from the DOM. So you configure this for what you would specifically want. But I have this set to 2, and then I have one for do not combine and one for the same price and type. So do not combine is typically for large trades, because I want to see which price someone's going in just buying 100 lots in one clip, not what's been aggregated at each price. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, now the colors for all of this, you can adjust the colors. Now to do that, we're back into the graphic settings again. So graphic settings, and then you're down to your time of sales. You can adjust all the colors in here for this. Okay. So again, you'll just run through the colors, but this is the part that you find it, right? And the good thing is, once you've completed all this right? Once you've completed all of this once, in order to put this into a different chart, you just go to click on the chart, and then go to chart, duplicate chart, right? Or sorry, chart, duplicate chart to chart book, right? Then go to new chart book, okay, and then to save you all the faffing, just change the chart settings. So go to chart settings, symbol, for example, and then just change this to NQ. Okay, so I'm just gonna adjust this here. I'm potatoing here. There we go. Okay, and then this just changes to NQ, for example. So that's how to quickly do that. Once you've done this once, you can then copy it across the different markets if you're watching different markets, right? But sadly, this is what you get at the start. So hopefully, this is quite a long video, and they're quite taxing to make, to be honest. These. running through all these settings and doing it. So I would really appreciate it if you could leave a comment, leave a like, let me know how you're getting on with this, and let me know what other tutorials you would like to see. Okay, and I think it might be easier to do this over a live stream, to be honest, because then people can ask questions and get feedback real time on what's going on. But anyways, hopefully this was helpful, um, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, peace.